Hey, I want y'all to listen to something. All right. Destruction of reason and how JSU and black people are destroying bridges they never built. And we're talking about this bridge that Coach Sanders built while he was at JSU and they destroyed it. All right. But there's a lady here that explains this in great detail. But first, let me greet everybody. Gevorten hardugudag, ola oite bem, vossas los boncha mesami, kedabawani konnichiwa, ni haniama, sani banani, jambor bagani, assalamu alaikum shalom. All right. I want y'all to listen carefully at what this woman have to say. But before that, let me remind y'all, my Cash App and my PayPal me is in the description box. If you care about what this channel is doing for the community in the diaspora, go to the description box, and I want to hear your comments on this. And especially after this lady says what she's going to say, you're about to hear her next. I want y'all to tell me what's on your mind then, and then when at the end of the video, tell me what's on your mind then when you really hear what Coach Sanders had to say, for those of you who missed it. All right? So, listen to this woman and tell me what you think. Okay, so to the brothers and sisters, I want y'all to pay close attention to this. The so-called Afro male have been sabotaged, betrayed by treasonous ideologies designed to destroy us. And now the Caucasian society is starting to wake up and understand she's not going to say it. But it is what it is. This is what feminism, well, not feminism, but that feminist mentality has wrought, not only on the Afro community, but on the world, where a man can't choose to do what's right for him and his family. He have to succumb to the jacked up hive mind. And this hive mind is the feminist trait. It's the female trait. It's not masculine. It is the thing that has destroyed the so-called black community, trying to cater to women that will never be satisfied. And now you got to deal with their minions. And if you really think about this, the HBCUs are going to be garbage as a result of it. Mark my words. It's going to be garbage as a result of it. These fee fails are causing everybody to throw away logic and reason because they're afraid of upsetting them, but in that, it's destroying the world. You don't think so? Listen to this woman.
And so what we're living through in Britain and the West, in my view, is even worse than the potential destruction of political liberty, even worse than the destruction of the very idea of the Western nation and national identity. We're living through the destruction of reason. And all around us, we find that rational argument, discussion, civil discourse, encompassing ideas which may compete with each other. We may have disagreements and be civil to each other. All gone. Replaced by insult. Insult designed not just to wound, but to silence. To shut down the argument.
Silence. Remember, not only the females, not only the black woman that's coming after Afro men, but if you notice, the dudes attacking the passport brothers, the females that's doing it, if you notice their mode of attack, it is to lie so viciously that the intent is to silence. Silence, so that logic won't be used or truth. They want the truth silenced. The truth is that Coach Sanders did a lot for the HBCUs. Do you know how fast black people forgot what he had done for them? A couple of days. A day, the time it took from the time they made the decision that he made a thought that was best for himself and family based on how he was being treated by the administration at an HBCU, and in this case, Jackson State University, and the time that his team won the championship. Throughout that whole game, look at the vitriolic and just hateful nature of the black community of Jackson State and HBCUs and other so-called black people and anyone that came against this man. If you read in blue, Friday night, that's the real answer to the question that's asked up there in that bubble bullet. The real ones are the ones who attacked this man. Now, let's look at all he had done for this school and what was done for the school and what it looked like before they got there. And remember, these are people that have made a conscious decision. Black people, not white people. Black people. White people wanted him because of what he did. Because they look back over the history of what he did with this college, this university, and they said, wow, we're going to remember this. Because we remember this, we're going to bless this dude with whatever he wants. Black people chose to forget it almost instantaneously. That's what's so effed up. That's the bridge that they didn't build. Let's take a greater look at this bridge that Jackson State didn't build. None of the alumni built. None of the boosters built. And he talks about it. Let's take a look at the before and after. And this is what he did. Yeah, that's why he needed to leave. And this is why I've been encouraging brothers since 2013, 14, 15, 16 to get the hell away from the so-called black community, because this is really what the toxic people in that community think of you. Are there good people there? Yeah, and I'm telling the good people, we need to separate. The scripture says we need to separate. We need to sanctify ourselves from these toxic people that will lie on the Afro men, but they will allow other people to call them out their name. Look down at the bottom. This woman said this. They will lie to the police to have their man unalive, deleted from the earth. Y'all seen that video of the woman in black? All right. It's all about silence, shutting them down so that the only thing prevails in this community, run at the universities and everything else by the feelings of women, is silence, even if that silence means putting that dude in the grave. All right, so I want y'all to understand something else. This was Coach Jackson's football field. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff that he did. He got deals from Walmart, Under Armour, Michael Strahan, and he rebuilt this field. Had this field rebuilt. He used his own money. He gave half his money back to his school, so what he was paid. So it wasn't about money. In a sense, it was more about respect. But then it was Jackson State that didn't make him an offer. Jackson State that didn't want to pay his coaches. All right, but let's look at what the so-called student body, let's say about half. Black people, let's say about half. I mean, because the vitriol against this brother was so deep. And at the beginning, I showed you Eddie George. He left too. Didn't do as much, but nobody was angry at that. They're not angry. The so-called black people don't get angry at the Caucasian man for doing what's better for him and his family, for climbing up that ladder. Oh, but the crab in the barrel right? They want a Messiah because they believe in the false religion that have them on their knees all the time instead of doing stuff for themselves. Remember, before Coach Sanders got there, these football players had to go to a high school to practice when there was rain. Think about that for a second. Now, I want you to pay attention to what Coach Sanders said he had to deal with. All right. And this is what people want to forget before he got there. These are the conditions of JSU when he got there. And then we'll see the work he did after he got there and what JSU looked like now.
Everything out. I mean, the dorms, the food, the look. My thing was when I got to Jackson, I said, how in the world could a darn public high school look better than a public college? That don't make sense to me. How in the world can this college eat this and we have to eat that? That don't make sense to me. I start calling presidents. Not presidents on campus, but presidents of these companies. Look, I got a problem with our foods. We need to handle this. And I get everybody from the college and I get everybody from the company and we find out where the lie is. And the lie has to get up and go because they're forgetting, not only am I fighting for your kid and your kid and your kid and your kid and that kid of all ethnicities, but my kids are there on campus.
Okay, so courtesy of Walmart, remember how jacked up the field looked? All right, so this is what it looks like now, courtesy of Walmart. But oh, he didn't stop there. He went and made deals with Under Armour, right? And Under Armour is a big win because when you have a winning season and you're on ESPN and people see your team, your brand. All right. See, Deion Sanders understood that. All right. So people decided to forget that. The shabby field and then turned it into this, where they didn't have to go to the high school to practice when it rained. All right. And y'all starting to see how black people burn bridges of good people that want to do the good community well, but they elevate rappers that talk about deleting people, deleting other Afro people from the community. They talk about how it's good to have a WAP, uplifting the 304 culture. All right, they uplift the 304 culture. Anything that the females want, they get, even if they want to throw away a good man and burn that bridge behind them. All right, so you got the shabby field, then you got this field, right? Stop there. One of the many JSU uniforms, courtesy of Under Armour. Do you know there's only one other team that have more changes of uniform than Jackson State? And that's a Power 5 team, the Oregon Ducks. I want y'all to understand what this man did. And then people blow by it as if he did nothing for them. Or, oh, here's the other one. Did y'all know that he had offers from other Power 5 schools, but he took the one at Jackson State? So Jackson State was not the only university that gave him an opportunity. Other people saw his brand as well, and trust me, he was unknown as a coach, but they knew his intelligence as a brand and bringing attention to programs, right? And JSU was not the only one that was offering him an opportunity. There were Power 5 schools. He just chose JSU for some reason. All right, I want y'all to understand something. But the haters in the so-called black community, calling this dude, the raccoon stuff, they are the real ones that, and pay close attention, that we should be looking at side-eyed. This is why, if you are a decent brother, you need to leave the damn community alone and go outside of the United States if you want to deal with Afro people, because Afro people in the diaspora will appreciate you way more than the so-called black community, because the black community is run by feminists, not feminism. There's no femininity left. It is run by feminists that despises good Afro men, yet still want them to be slaves for them. You can hear it in their dating choices. No, we want the good man to take us out on 5-star meals, but we want to screw the thugs and drug dealers. And when we have their babies, we want to blame it on the good men that aren't getting us pregnant. This is the same mentality that you have here. Oh, don't let it sleep. Oh, and then he goes into it further about how he cares for the children. Oh, you're not allowed to do that. Pay attention to this. Let me say this. This is why the alumni didn't do anything. This is why the school never made him an offer, didn't make an offer to his coaches. This is why, even with all the success, money, and everything that he brought to the school did not make him an offer, did not extend him, didn't do a damn thing. Nor did the boosters. They weren't doing anything, because you see the conditions of the place before he got there. But this is why they wanted him gone, because he exposed everything that was wrong with HBCUs. Right here, with the rest of his speech. Right here.
So you think for 1 minute I'm going to let your kid of all ethnicities starve and not sleep comfortably, and my kids are on campus as well? The devil is a lie. We deserve the absolute best. We're going to get the absolute best. We're going to have the absolute best. It's no way that a college 2 hours down the road should be living better than we're living. It's no way in the world. And not only that, you got to challenge the people that graduated. See, everybody clapped that attended, but those claps will cease when I talk about the giving back, because that's where the difference is. The giving back. We have the propensity not to give back to what's blessed us. Baby, if you bless me like you blessed me today, you call me. We in Dallas. We going to dinner. Me, you, wife, and my lady. We going to dinner because you blessed me. And I got to pay it forward. We got to learn how to do that, people. Yeah. We got to start blessing what blessed us.
And there you have it. He called everybody out, because no one at JSU was doing their job before he got there. No one at JSU, to include the boosters and all the rest of that, did their job while he was there. And he felt like he was on his own, because he was on his own. There's no way in hell a coach that you hire should be doing all this himself for the good of the students, as if the administration did not and do not care about them. All right, I want y'all to understand this. The thing about all of this is Colorado didn't have the money either. But they said, for this dude, we will get the money. And instead of so-called black people appreciating everything this dude did, what they decided to do was not only forget almost instantaneously all that he had done for that university and HBCUs. Then they turned what he did into something toxic. So they took the good that he did, and that's why I said this is a female mentality. Remember that lady said what she said at first? That this is the biggest fear? What they did was turn this in on its head and made everything he did that was good look bad. And they burnt this bridge down, because anyone that has any sense, any other decent coach with his kind of standing should know, if you are an Afro man, they expect you to be a slave to them. When you go there, you can't leave. You can't leave this plantation. And remember, the people that are thinking now are primarily raised in a single mother household. And that's the mentality that's going through. The mentality of entitlement without work or effort. And the mentality that says that if you're an Afro man, that this feministic mentality in the black community says that you need to be their slave if you are good at what you do. If you're a wicked man, they love you. They'll give you their all. They will serve a wicked man before they'll serve a man that's trying to bless them. Brothers get passports and leave, and all you coaches pay attention. With that said, I'm out.